A pregnant woman collapses onto the scorching savanna, only to find herself surrounded by 6 lions, who then do the unthinkable. What does the pride do next? Witness one of nature's most extraordinary acts of unexpected guardianship. It is midday in the heart of the African savanna, the sun hanging high and unrelenting in the sky, offering no mercy to the land below. Waves of heat rise in shimmering columns, distorting the horizon until the earth itself seems to tremble, an illusion born of heat and dust. This is the cradle of life, a place where beauty and danger walk side by side. Acacia trees dot the landscape like ancient, forgotten sculptures, while tall golden grasses whisper secrets, concealing both predator and prey. Life here is raw, where every heartbeat matters. There are no roads, no water in sight, only the endless, unforgiving plain. Across it, a solitary figure moves slowly, purposefully. She is neither a herdswoman nor a traveler. She carries no weapons, no provisions, only something far more precious: life itself. Beneath the fabric of her worn dress, her belly swells with the weight of an unborn child. She walks not in search of food or shelter, but in search of safety, for even in the wild, there are places of healing. And so her journey begins. Her name is Ruth, born in the village of Dongui. She has known this land all her life, the sin of the earth after rain, the hum of cicadas, the whispers of wind through tall grass. But today, 8 months pregnant and alone beneath the harsh midday sun, the land feels vast and unforgiving. With the village's only vehicle broken and the clinic 15 kilometers away, she walks each step deliberately. Each breath measured, her bare feet, pressed into the dry soil, sweat beads on her brow, and her hands cradle the weight of new life. There is no fear on her face, only a quiet determination, though her strength begins to waver. The sun burns, her legs tremble, and the world blurs at the edges. A bird cries in the distance somewhere unseen, a jackal watches. Finally, her knees give. She sinks gently to the ground, resting her back against a sun-baked termite mound for the first time. Her breath is ragged. She looks out across the savanna. No movement, no help in sight, but in that heavy stillness where heat and silence reign, something ancient stirs. Omar's body yields at last, not in defeat, but in necessary surrender. Her legs, trembling under the strain, no longer carry her. She lowers herself into the grass, the dry blades rustling softly as she leans back against the termite mounds. Coarse warmth here in the open. She's fully exposed, an island of stillness in a sea of golden grass. Her breath comes in shallow bursts. Her head leans forward. Sweat traces delicate paths down her temples. The journey has drained her, and now even the thought of standing again feels distant, unreachable. The wind carries the faint scent of dust and sun-baked desert insects, drones lazily in the air overhead. A vulture circles high, too far to matter now, but an omen nonetheless. She places her hand on her belly, whispering quietly in her native tongue. A lullaby, perhaps a prayer. Life within her stirs a faint kick, gentle, defiant. The child is still fighting, but she knows out here in this vast and wild expanse, time is not on her side. And then the silence shifts. It is almost imperceptible at first, a subtle change in the air. The grass quivers, though the wind has not returned. A shadow slips silently across the earth. Birds hush. Even the insects seem to fall quiet. Ruth's eyes slowly rise from the tall grass. Amber eyes watch her, steady, silent, ancient. She's no longer alone from the golden grasses. They emerge. First one, lions, then another until 5. Stand in silent formation around Ruth. Their presence is immense, yet strangely still. No growls, no snarls, no sudden lunges, only unblinking eyes and poised muscle beneath sunlit fur. Ruth, though trembling within, does not scream. Exhaustion grips her, but something older, deeper, and instinct beyond panic keeps her silent. She clutches her belly tightly. One lion steps forward and sniffs the air, her gaze settled not on Ruth's face but on the gentle swell of her womb. Then she lies down. Not to strike but to watch the others follow suit, guardians rather than predators. And then from the tall grass, heat arrives, the male towering, scared, and impossibly regal. His mane catches the wind, and his steps command the very ground beneath him. He surveys the scene, his amber eyes locking onto Ruth's. She cannot move, cannot breathe, yet he does not roar. Instead, he walks to the center of the pride and sits majestic, unthreatening, utterly in control. In this some clearing of the savanna, something rare and profound unfolds. The great predators of the land do not strike. They guard around Ruth. They form not a trap, but a living circle of presence. Nature watches over, and now for a time, there's only stillness. Ruth lies motionless. Her breath was shallow, her heartbeat pounding like distant drums in her ears. The pride surrounds her, yet she makes no move. The lionesses settle one by one as if this were a resting ground, not a hunting ground. One begins to lick 4 paws with slow, methodical ease, then stretches and lowers her head to the earth. They're not predators in this moment, they're watchers. The male remains seated, unmoving, his gaze fixed not on the woman, but on the horizon. There is a strange solemnity to his posture, as though he senses a purpose beyond instinct. Something older than fear or hunger. The savannah, so often alive with noise, has gone utterly quiet, and then it happens. The lion lifts his great head toward the sky, draws in the dry air, and releases a sound that shakes the plains. A single thunder roars. It rolls across the grasslands like a drumbeat of the wild, deep, resonant territorial. But more than that, it is a call, a declaration. Ruth flinches, her hands clutch her belly, yet the lions do not move. They're still guardians, still silent. Aye, but the roar has gone far, and it has been heard across the vast expanse of the savannah miles from where Ruth sits, surrounded by lions. A lone vehicle hums gently along a worn game trail. At the wheel is Brian, a senior ranger with sun-lined skin and eyes sharpened by years beneath this very sky. He knows this land like he knows the lines on his own hands. Every sound, every movement is a whisper in the language of the wild. Then he hears it roar, deep, commanding. Ranger Brian halts the engine, his eyes narrow, scanning the distant plains. He knows that voice. It belongs to Kali, an aging male lion whose roars have become rare in recent seasons. Kali does not roar without cause, and this roar was no warning to rivals. It was a summons to the untrained ear. A lion's roar is simply noise, but to those who have walked among them, it is speech, and Brian understood it like a friend with practiced urgency. He throws the vehicle into gear and veers off the trail, tires tearing through the golden grass dust plumes in his wake. He doesn't know what he'll find, but he knows someone or something is out there, and the lions are not alone. The vehicle crested. A small rise in the landscape, scattering a flock of guinea fowl into the air. Dust swirled behind Brian like a ribbon of urgency, and then he saw 6 lions. One woman, his foot slammed the brake. Ruth lay slumped at the base of the termite mound, her head tilted downward. Her arms were still cradling her belly. The lions surrounded her, not in a predatory stance, but seated, calm, regal like sentries. For a moment, Brian did not move, even for a man who had seen nearly every facet of the wild from stampedes to silent deaths. This was different. This was beyond instinct. It was intentional. Slowly, cautiously, he stepped from the vehicle's boots, sinking softly into the earth. He did not reach for his rifle. Instead, he raised both hands, not in surrender, but in respect, as if greeting old allies. The lioness watched him unmoving. Then the male rose Kali, his mane shimmered like molten bronze. In the sunlight, the old lion stepped forward, not toward Brian, but aside, clearing a path with the authority of a king. Brian knelt beside Ruth. Her eyes fluttered open in relief, weak but clear, washed over her face. He lifted her gently, carrying her as one might carry something sacred. Before returning to the vehicle, Brian paused. Kali stood just meters away, staring at him, not as a beast, but as an equal. They say lions recognize their own, and perhaps in that moment, the king of beasts saw in Brian another guardian. The vehicle sped across the plains, the sun climbing steadily higher in the sky, as Brian radioed ahead to the field clinic. In the backseat, Amar lay cradled by cushions and courage. Her breathing was labored but steady when help arrived. The nurses moved with swift precision, ushering her into care. Hours later, through pain and perseverance, a cry broke through the air. A child was born, strong, healthy, and radiant under the African sun. A girl. And so life carried on. Days later, Brian returned to the place where it had all begun. The lions had vanished, as if the savannah had reclaimed its secrets. Yet in the dust, the story remained, etched in paw prints and memory. The villagers spoke of it in hushed awe. The lions had guarded her. The lions had known. It was not merely a tale of science or survival, but something far rarer, a moment when the wild chose to protect rather than threaten, when the kings of beasts stood watch over a mother and her unborn child, and somewhere, carried on the wind between the acacia trees and the ancient earth, their roar still echoes, not in fear, but in legacy. What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comments section. I hope you like this story. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Also subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.